Hello, entrepreneurs, artists, and creators. This is David Founder Sensei. Hey, I'm here at the beach. I thought I'd record another video just because the setting is so beautiful and inspiring. Here, take another look. Wow, look at that. Amazing, isn't it? Love Michigan. Okay, so I'm here. I've got a little bit of a story to tell about how I came to this book. But I'm not going to tell the story about this book because I want to get into the implications of the book a little bit. So I'm sitting here with this book on the beach called The Return of the Prodigal Son. So there's a spiritual teacher who gave me this book. Her name is Delcy. I don't know how old she is, but she's not a young woman. And Delcy, I said, that's funny, where'd does that name come from? And she said, well, it came from my parents. And that's the kind of personality she has. But I looked it up. Delcy actually means sweetness. And boy, what a great name for her. Very, very aptly named. So the Prodigal Son, what does it have to do with startups? Well, I'm reading it a little bit. I'm only a couple chapters in, but I'm reading it, and to me it's about forgiveness, like the power of forgiveness. So what does that have to do with startups? So, well, I'll tell you what it has to do. A lot of times there's a lot of rejection in startups. There's a lot of people that'll say no because as entrepreneurs we usually see things that other people don't see, whether that's investors or customers or partners or co-founders, whatever it is. Not everybody's going to agree with us, and I take that stuff, or I have traditionally taken that stuff pretty personally. So where it hits me the most probably is with investors. If you go and kind of pitch an investor or trying to persuade the investor you've got this great idea that's going to change the world, and the investor's like, no, it's a stupid idea. I mean, they're not always that rude. Sometimes they are that rude, but the one kind of example, I think it's one of the best examples. So there's this guy, you probably know, Brad Feld. He's a venture capitalist, former entrepreneur. He works at the Founder Group in Boulder. And I don't know Brad very well. I've met him when he was in Chicago, putting the Techstars brand onto the accelerator here. But I've had this kind of email relationship with him. And when I created the studio, Startup Studio, Insight Studios, a year and a half ago, I sent him the executive summary, thinking, hey, he's my email buddy. He'll give me the time of day. And his email, I swear to God, I'm not making this up. It said, hey, Dave, read your thing. I can't think of any reason we would possibly want to do this. And the crazy thing about it was I didn't even know this at the time, but like a couple weeks later, I learned that he invested in Pioneer Square, actually led the round in Pioneer Square Lab. So maybe he just thought Pioneer Square was a better model than ours. Maybe he'd already committed to that and didn't want to do another studio. Who the hell knows? He didn't really elaborate. But it really pissed me off. And so I realize now that there's no point in getting upset about that. That there are lots of investors and lots of customers out there. And not everyone's going to be a fit for what you're doing. Not everyone's going to resonate with what you're doing. And that's totally okay. Because after all, let's say I was able to convince him, Brad, or an investor, whatever, to do it. Is he really going to be into it? Is he really going to be supportive if he's got that much doubt? Probably not. So probably don't want him on the team anyway. And I think that's the main thing is if you're doing your thing and you have a vision that you believe in, not just because it's coming from ego, but it's coming from validation that you've gotten from customers, the resonance you see around a certain problem, or the excitement, enthusiasm they have for your solution. And you can see, before anybody else can see, how this is going to change the world. If that's your thing, just do your thing, man. And if you have to bootstrap it, you have to bootstrap it. And if you have to live in your parents' basement, then live in your parents' basement. I mean, whatever it takes. And then eventually people will come around. Eventually they will. Because once you get out of theory and into real evidence and real traction, people will start to get it. There's this great quote that's attributed to Leonardo da Vinci, which goes something like, there's three types of people in the world. Those who see when shown, and those who do not see. And I think it's helpful to keep that in mind when you're talking to investors, talking with customers, talking with partners. There's just a lot of people out there that they just can't see, and that's okay. They see something else that you don't see. And so that won't be part of your story, but that's all right. You will find the people that do see it like you do, or will see it when are shown, and then you'll have the resources you need. So let me just take a time out here and say a special message to my friend, Brad Feld. I forgive you, man. I forgive you for not seeing. I think you're smart enough that you'll see it someday, but it's okay that you don't see it yet. So that's my thought, sitting on the dune here on this beautiful afternoon. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Until next time.